יאללה.
אוקיי, אז שלום לכולם, מה שלומכם? אני מתחיל עכשיו את השידור החי של הוובינר. אני אחכה דקה או שתיים כדי שכולם יצטרפו. חברים, זו התרגשות מאוד מאוד גדולה. יש לנו פה מעל 500 איש איתנו בשידור החי היום, וזה מאוד מאוד מרגש. אני אתחיל בלהציג את עצמי. קוראים לי גלעד פולק, ואני מייסד ומנכ"ל אודיו-דידאקט. אנחנו חברה שהוקמה לפני 5 שנים. המטרה שלנו היא להפיץ תוכן של התפתחות אישית ועסקית, וליצור קהילה של אנשים. אוקיי, אז שלום לכולם, מה שלומכם? אני מתחיל עכשיו את השידור החי של הוובינר. אני אחכה דקה או שתיים כדי שכולם יצטרפו. חברים, זו התרגשות מאוד מאוד גדולה. יש לנו פה מעל 5... מעולה, אז שמעתי את עצמי כפול, אז אני אתחיל שוב. אז חברים, אני מאוד 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 מתרגש ושמח לארח פה את רוברט ביחד איתי היום לוובינר שיכול לעזור לאנשים כבר עכשיו להתחיל להתכונן למשבר הבא, כדי לדעת איך לייצר נכס מניב בנדלן, לדעת איך אפשר גם ללא הון העצמי שלכם לייצר נדלן שיכול לאפשר לכם להרוויח כסף בלי להיות תלויים לא בזמן ולא במקום ולא קשור לנסיבות שקורות עכשיו. יאפשר לכם ליצור ערוץ הכנסה נוסף, ככה שיהיה לכם עסק וחיים יציבים יותר, גם בתקופות שבו ההכנסה יורדת. אנחנו שלחנו שאלון לאלפי אנשים ובעלי עסקים, ששאלנו את השאלות חשובות מאוד בתקופה הזאת. שאלנו אותם איך המשבר השפיע עליהם, שאלנו אותם האם הם מתכננים בזמן שגרה איך להתמודד עם משברים, כמו המשבר שקרה לנו עכשיו, והאם הם חשבו בכלל על נדל"ן כאופציה, כערוץ הכנסה נוסף שיאפשר להם יציבות בתקופות האלה. התוצאה הייתה מאוד מאוד ברורה. אנשים, עסקים קטנים ואנשים לא מתכוננים לתקופות משבר. רוב האנשים לא מתכוננים, לא חושבים על זה בכלל, וחיים את השגרה שלהם בלשווק ולהביא עוד לקוחות, אבל לא חושבים איך לייצר עוד ערוצי הכנסה כדי שבזמן משבר יהיה להם יציבות. וגם תשובה שחזרה על עצמה הראתה שאנשים חושבים ובטוחים שעל מנת לייצר ערוץ הכנסה בנדלן, הם חייבים שיהיה להם הון עצמי. אז היום גבירותיי ורבותיי, אני מתכבד להציג מנטור, רוברט שמין. אתם פוגשים עכשיו וובינר, שהוא וובינר רגיל, אבל הוא מאוד מאוד חשוב. זה וובינר שהרבה זמן חיכינו באמת להביא תוכן מעשי, שיכול לאפשר לאנשים, להפוך לאנשים משפיעים וחופשיים. מה אני יכול לספר על רוברט? רוברט בן אדם באמת מדהים. המטרה שלו והחזון שלו משותפים לחזון של אודיו-דידאקט. להפוך אנשים לחופשיים ברמה האישית, ברמה הכלכלית, לייצר נכסים בנדלן. רוברט לפני 20 שנה היה נחשב, לפני 20 שנה הוא הפך להיות מיליונר, אבל לפני זה בילדותו הוא נחשב לבן אדם שאין לו כמעט סיכוי להצליח. רבים והמשפחה שלו אמרו לו לא יצא ממך שום דבר, ובכל זאת הוא האמין ובסופו של דבר הוא הצליח. אתם מקבלים עכשיו וובינר מרוכז ב-20 שנה של ניסיון. אני מבקש מכם להגיע קשובים, להכין דף ועט כדי לרשום כל משפט פה יכול לשנות ולהגדיל את ההכנסות שלכם, את התפוקה שלכם בעסק ובחיים בכלל. ואני רוצה להוקיר אתכם. זה ממש ממש לא מובן מאליו. בתקופה שכזאת לבוא ולהקדיש ולהשקיע בעצמכם. זה דבר מאוד מאוד חשוב, ואני מאוד מאוד שמח על כך ומודה לכם על כך. אז חברים יקרים, אני לא אחכה אפילו עוד שנייה ולא אמתח אתכם. אני רוצה להביא לכם, אני גאה להביא לכם, את המנטור שבאמת שינה את החיים שלי, והולך להשפיע ולשנות חיים של הרבה אנשים באמצעות השיטה שלו ליצירת נדל"ן, לא בכך עם הון עצמי. אז קבלו את רוברט שמין.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. And in the next 59 minutes, I promise, whatever level you're at of wealth, success, crisis, opportunity, stress, I'm going to give you tools to do 2 things. One is how to deal with crisis, stress in your life. Everybody has it. We're going to make you feel really good about how to deal with it and give you some real tools. And second of all, how to take advantage of opportunities to create wealth. And I know the minute I say that, all the resistance comes in your mind. all the excuses and how do I know this? Because I had them. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. How can I do it? How can I get started? Robert, you don't understand. Things are different here. I'm in a tough situation. How am I going to get anything? How am I going to invest in real estate? How am I going to start a business? And I'm going to show you real tools that hundreds, if not thousands, of our successful students all over the world have used. And they all started just like you, just like me, saying, I can't, I can't, I can't. So if you're ready, you're going to want to take a lot of notes because I'm going to give you real tools that you can use to be super successful. And if it's okay with you, you're in control. This is your hangout, your conference, your seminar. If it's okay with you, I'm going to take away all your excuses because I had them too. So if you're really ready to jump ahead, have quantum success, hopefully within 3, 4, 5, 6 months, maybe 90 days, create wealth, your business, obtain real estate, whether you have money or credit or not, create extra sources of income for yourself and your family, create a separate asset base, which I'll explain, then you're in the right place. Now, right now, I'm going to give a special welcome. We have people all over the world on this hangout, but I want to give a special welcome to my Israeli friends and say welcome. And I want to take just a minute and say my heart's with you of what you've been going through. You've been going through a real crisis. I know that. Literally 3, 4 times a day I'm talking to my family and friends in Israel. My own son was there for 2 weeks at the height of the conflict. I'll be there in just a few days, and I'm very excited about it. But I just want to say that all of us, everyone I know here in America, regardless what you hear on the press, is thinking about you, praying for you, hoping for your safety and peace, and that peace and will come once again very soon to your life in Israel. And I have so much respect for you because you're amazing to keep working, to be here, to keep moving forward, to want to grow during these very, very stressful times. And I just want to mention that to let you know, whatever it helps, that there's a whole lot of people, including me and my family, and a lot of friends you don't know that are thinking about you all the time. So let's talk about crisis or opportunity. A few things I want to help you out before we get started to open your mind up. Because if you're open, you can learn and grow very quickly when it gets you quantum success. Whatever you think, you're right. If you think there's no opportunity, you can't do it, you're absolutely correct. If you think there's always opportunity, even in crisis, then you are correct. And there's only one person that can change the way you think, and that's you. I also want you in the next 57 minutes or so to catch yourself on how often you come up with resistance. You know, right now you might be focused on a crisis. Everybody has them. This past week I was with a group of people that were worth over $100 million. I was talking to them, consulting with them, and guess what all of them had today, this week? Crises, problems. You would think, oh, they've got millions and millions of dollars. They'd have no problems. You're going through a crisis. Your crisis and stress, and in many cases it is, I understand, seems big to you. Everybody's problems seem large, correct? Some are larger than others. Some are imagined, some are real. But everything, in most cases, is perspective. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But there's always a crisis, always an opportunity. Now, you may agree or disagree because you're in control and whatever you think you're right, but there's always a choice. What's your choice? What's my choice? To be prepared for the next crises where we can go through it smoothly, to look at our options and opportunities, or just focus on the problem. Because write this down. Whatever you focus on will expand. I find myself reading the paper sometime, and when there's a war, crisis, economic crisis, we read and read and read about it. We don't want to miss anything, and that's all we think about. And then there's other people who say, yes, it's a crisis, and I'm going to keep up with it, but what's the opportunity? And there's always an opportunity for you. Everyone has a choice. And I'm going to give you 2 stark examples before I give you absolute proven tools that work so you can deal with it. Number one, tomorrow I'll be in Medellin, Colombia, where I have a very large charity that I work with called Open Arms Foundation. And I'll be out from 10 at night till 3 in the morning with the volunteers picking up street kids who are sniffing shoe glue. They have no family. They're on the street. They many of them can't even have clothes. They have nothing to eat. And we're in a van or cars, and we beg them We ask them. We plead with them. We bribe them to say, come in. We'll give you some food. We'll get you some clothes. You have a safe, clean place to sleep. You still can charge your life. These are kids. And do they have a choice? Do we have a choice about money, wealth, success, prosperity, owning and controlling real estate and assets and investments? And a lot of people will look at these street children. I could put pictures of them if I had time. And you say they don't have a choice. They've had no background, no education, no family, no one's there to help them. But every one of them has a choice. Some choose to come in. Some choose not to come in. Many of them choose to come in, and within 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, these are kids, 12, 15, 16. We have them start businesses. Some of them are earning thousands of dollars a month. Businesses, they're not even out of high school. And some are still on the streets sniffing shoe glue and leading a very stressful life. You may not agree, but I believe everyone has a choice. They have a choice. Come in, stay in, start a business, not start a business, learn, not learn. You have a choice. I have a choice. I was just recently with my friend Bruce Springsteen. Some of y'all know him as a Sony recording artist who's one of the top 20 best record sellers of all time and puts on one of the best rock and roll shows ever. But what you don't know about him, I was talking with him one day, and in 1978, after he'd appeared on the cover of Time and Newsweek magazine, Future of Rock and Roll, Bruce Springsteen, filling up stadiums all over the U.S. and Europe, he was making $50 a week, working 7 days a week, best-selling albums, big concerts. He had a bad management contract. When he realized he had a bad contract, he hired a lawyer like most people were, called a crisis. And for 2.5 years, he wasn't allowed to do what he does best, make records, make songs. Imagine if someone said, you can't do what you do for 2.5 years. Now, what's worse than that is there was no income coming in, nothing, zero. He had a band. Very shortly, they were in $2.5 million in debt. That's in 1978 to a young rock and roll star who had no money, and they had one thing, really strange. You would have never think about this with rock and roll. Now, what would most people do if you're $2-3 million in debt, have no income, can't make your records, you're in a lawsuit, everybody's against you, and everyone's told you, hey, it's not going to work out. And we all tell ourselves that. He told himself that I might have made a big mistake. I might have to go get a job for the first time. Well, he had a choice. And what did he do? A couple of his band members had actually bought some houses. They had real estate. And they did something that makes no sense. They went out and got loans on their real estate. Imagine you have $2-3 million in debt. You can't pay it. What do? Go out and get some more debt, right? Another couple $100,000 on their houses. They got enough to get a tour bus and book some concerts because he could play concerts. And he made a choice. And he went out in a year and a half, 2 years, played almost 200 concerts a year, which is a lot, 4 years in a row, got out of debt, and now, as you know, he literally took control of his career, and he said, I had a choice. I was desperate. We could stop. We could quit. We could go under. We could give in to what everybody said, including ourselves. This won't work. It can't work. They made a choice. He said, we went to work, and we acted like each night where they do a concert, each day could be the last day of our lives, could be the last concert we ever give. Now, let's stop right there. Real estate, investing, opportunity, an hour with your loved one, an hour with your child. How often do we give 100% of our focus, our attention, our energy, our love to what we're doing, whatever it is, whether it's making money, investing, being successful, or just having a darn good time? And one thing he's inspired me about is, hey, we all have a choice, like the homeless children, like Springsteen, like my friend Donald Trump, like you, like me. And we also have a choice with each moment. Should we really listen to what was in this hangout and do it, or just kind of give it 50% and play around? If we're going to create wealth, should we just kind of piddle with it, think about it, or do it 100% commitment? And I want you to think right now of one thing in your life and write it down that you are 100% committed to. Maybe it was a relationship, a date, a sport, a class, the army, the military, your religion, your beliefs, your singing, your dancing, your sports. And I want you to say that you can't do that. You have those tools. And what if you applied that to what we're about to show you? Focused. Get rid of the resistance. Enjoy the process. 100% focused. So, my friend Donald Trump talking about crisis and opportunity, okay? He was in real estate, and some people know this and some people don't know about it, but he's talked to me. One day, when the real estate crisis occurred, and I'm going to start showing you some slides here. When the real estate crisis occurred, the market went down. A lot of his officers, or a lot of people don't know this, were killed in a give me 1 second here, I'm pulling up some slides. Were killed in a bad helicopter accident. So imagine your leaders, your lieutenants, your partners, your friends are all dead. They were the ones running the business, although he was in charge of it. And I hope you can see my screen now. Crisis or opportunity. What's my focus? And in just a minute, I'm going to go through the fast, how you can, whatever business or whatever real estate deals you do, how you can make money quickly if you want to. You have a choice. But anyway, Donald Trump. I don't know if this is any of his books or whatever, but he was telling me one day backstage at a wealth expo that we did for 30,000 people in New York. He said things were bad. I had 140 mortgages. He did things conventionally, just like everyone's taught. They went. He used his own credit, his business credit. He borrowed money. That's what we're all taught to do. And I'm about to, in just a minute, show you how that's maybe not the right thing to do, even though that's what you've been taught. Okay? Why take risk when you don't have to? Remember, there's always a choice, crisis or opportunity. So one day, Donald Trump with his wife walking down the street, and things were bad. He was almost $1 billion in debt, and he couldn't pay it. Negative net worth. He tried to explain to his wife, we can't live like we've been living. You got to stop shopping, honey. You know, we don't have the money. You know, 2 years ago we was a billionaire. Now I've got nothing. I owe 140 bank loans. I can't pay any of them. The banks are coming after me. It's bad. Hey, you think it's bad if you owe $50, $100, $200,000, maybe $1 million? How about 900+ million and you can't pay it? That's called crisis for some people. And just like everybody, he had a choice. Well, one day he's walking down to Manhattan and Fifth Avenue with his wife. She didn't understand how bad it was. And he said, listen, honey, you see that guy in the corner, the homeless guy selling pencils? She goes, uh-huh. He goes, let me explain how bad our financial situation is. Let's assume those 5 broken pencils he's trying to sell as a homeless person on the corner, you know, like a beggar. Let's assume that's his entire net worth. He's worth $998 million more than us. She's like, what? He's like, that's right. That's how much debt we have. And he made a choice. He said most people would go bankrupt. They wouldn't pay the debt back. They quit. Right? He said, I'm going to go to work one thing at a time. What's my focus? He took the biggest, worst loan, went to the bank, worked a settlement out. Went to the next one, worked another settlement out. 140 times he did it. And he kept working and working. And even though he was below negative, he clawed himself up. Whatever level you're at, rich, poor, middle class, lower middle class, underclass, no class, some class, you can always go up. So what's my focus? When there's a crisis, yes, you need to be aware of it. Yes, it's okay to learn about it and talk a bit about it. But does it serve you? Whatever you focus on will expand. If you have an argument with a loved one or a business partner and you focus on the argument, you'll get more argument. Everything's energy. If you focus on your opportunity and how you can move forward and what you can do, not what you can't, you can very quickly in a fast method take advantage of those opportunities and be prepared. And the question I have whenever I meet a crisis or what I think's a crisis, I ask, number 1, what can I learn from this? Number 2, what can I do differently to be prepared if something like this happens again? Now, we live in a global economy. Everyone has a choice. And yes, I know you love your country and where you live, and maybe things are going well, maybe they're not. And you can choose to live wherever you live, work wherever you live, and people think they can't, but they can. When I thought I could only live one place where I was born and raised, that's where I lived in and whatever. And now you can live in multiple places. You can do your business long distance over Skype and the internet, including real estate. We have almost 100 students overseas who by phone, by email, by Skype, by video camera, are buying and selling real estate and making tons of money in other countries. And they're doing it long distance. I myself am an actual example of that. I was born and raised in Tennessee. And just like you, for the first 30-something years of my life, I thought the only place I could do business is where I live. That's what I know. That's what I'm comfortable with. And as a matter of fact, for the first 5 years, I was a real estate investor. And this will apply to whatever business you're in. I thought, well, I can only do it within a few square kilometers or miles of where I live. And I came from a not-so-rich family. So anything that was over $50,000, $75,000 I could never do because that's too big for me. And I was absolutely right. Whatever you think, including me, you're right and I'm right. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So I never did a deal over $75,000, $80,000 for the first 5, 7 years I was in real estate. And I never did anything within more than a mile or two or a couple square miles of where I lived and worked. And it worked, but I drove by, analyzed myself out of millions and millions of dollars of profit. And I just want to challenge you right now. How many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars will you talk or think yourself out of? So what do we do in business and real estate? One, as you know, things are moving faster. Do you agree? The things have changed in the last few years. It's all quicker, faster, do more with less, internet, text, SMS. You got to be quick, and that's true with investment and opportunity. You got to be fast. So we have to quickly teach you how to find an opportunity or deal, analyze it very quickly, put it under contract or control it, then make sure you do the right analysis. And this can be done literally, sometimes in minutes or hours. Now let me explain. The first 2 years I was in real estate investing, even though I had a mentor and paid him $25,000 I didn't have, and I went to my mentor and said, why'd you make me pay that? He didn't need the money. He was a bazillionaire. He had tens of millions of dollars. He said, because when people don't make a commitment, they're not committed. I said, well, let me pay out of my profits. He said, no. And I had to go borrow $25,000 from a family member that had not paid back on another loan. It was very uncomfortable. But because I did that, I had big motivation. So the number one determinant of your success is not your background, your education, your credit, or how much money you have. It's your motivation. If you have enough desire, nothing will stop you. Springsteen, Trump, street children, yourself. So right now I want you to write down what's your real desire. And when we get together in person, we have a program called the 7 Levels Deep. And we make people really dig down deep in their emotions. What's your motivation? To me, that's 80 to 90% of you being successful. If you're not that motivated, everything will stop you. If you're motivated, nothing will. So we ask, why do you want to make money or be successful? Why do you want to be safe during the next crises? Right? Well, I want to make money to take care of myself and my family. Okay, that's level 1. What's important to you about taking care of your family, yourself with money? Well, I was brought up to take care of your family and out of honor of my parents and my grandparents. Money means freedom. Okay, that's level 2. What's important to you about real freedom? Well, I don't want to be stuck. I want to be able to move around, travel, do things when I want to do. Okay, what's important to you about that? Why is it important to you? Now we're at level 3. What is important to you about making money? What is important to you about the reason you give for making money? Level 2. We're going to go 7 levels deep. So we actually do that when we're in person, but I want to introduce you to that. Dig down deep. What's your real motivation? When you find it and tap into it, nothing will stop you. We have to analyze, know the markets, know what's going on, and know our risk. And we have a lot of ways to have deals in real estate with very little risk, and I'll explain in just a minute. Then you have to have systems. The reason a lot of you stress out about your business, money, investing, real estate, starting a business, is you're thinking too much. You worry too much. You're very smart. I respect that. And how do I know this? I may not be as smart as you, but when I got started, I thought myself out of everything. What do I buy? What do I sell? How do I do it? How do I get started? How do I deal with the tenants? How do I deal with the contractors? How do I deal with the contracts? And then I made money and I was very busy. I was still thinking and analyzing, wondering and worrying like a lot of you. We got to stop it. We build systems, just like a franchise, just like a business. policies, procedures. So there's no decisions. Here's how we make an offer. Here's how we do a deal. Here's how we deal with the contractors. And the systems are proven and they work. So you remove yourself from the business. You remove yourself from the process. You find good opportunities. They're all over the place. You analyze them very quickly. We show you how to do it risk-free. Then you build, and we give you systems and checklists so you don't have to think, wonder, or worry. And if you follow them, they work. If you don't, they don't work. And if you don't work, it doesn't work. And there's no decisions. It takes everything out of all the problems away. And then the best part is turn them into profits, big profits. Now let's talk about crisis or opportunity. Most people, including myself, think small. Let me give an example. A lot of you can relate to this. For many years, from age 15 to 23, I worked in a restaurant called Ruby Tuesdays. I sold chicken dinners and steak dinners and salad bars and some wine, and I was a very good waiter. I started out as a busboy, and the whole business was, and you'll understand money and opportunity in just a second, why real estate and other investments are so amazing. A good night for me was $50 to $75 in tips. Most waiters in America, if they're good, make 15 to 20% tips. I was very good. I averaged 20, 23, 25%. So if I sold a dinner for $20 US, I might make a $4 tip. My managers thought I was great and I was super happy. Well, you're limited by the volume of business you do. If you're selling diamonds or jewelries or stocks or real estate, and the piece of real estate you're involved with is 200,000 US or $1 million US. And I know those numbers may scare some people. They would scare me in the beginning. Well, if you can make a 10 or 15% profit on wholesaling it or flipping it or quick turning it without buying it, without borrowing your own money, what's 15% of $200,000? That's about $30,000. We have a lot of students overseas, underseas, away from seas, up on mountains, in the state, out of the country, who find fast, remember that, F-A-S-T, who find a great deal. They put it under contract. There's no risk. They haven't bought it yet. They haven't borrowed money. They haven't used their credit. They can get out within 20 or 30 days. They have a look-see, a contingency. We give you all those systems. And if it's a good deal, they find a buyer. And let's say the property's worth $200,000. They get it for $120 from a small bank, an old landlord, an old landlady. I myself often sell properties at 20, 30% below market. And you might ask yourself, why would somebody do that? That's crazy. Why do people go through you? Why don't they just do it themselves? And what you're doing right now, I said in the beginning, is you're thinking yourself out of making money. Stop worrying so much about what other people do or don't do and focus on what you're going to do. There's a wholesale market and a retail market for everything. A lot of you went and bought clothes at the mall or a store and you paid $100 US for your skirt or dress or blouse or shirt or necklace or eyeglasses. And where did that store or shop owner get it from? They got it from a wholesaler who probably got it from another wholesaler who probably got it from a wholesaler from China, India, or Pakistan. They paid $4 or $5 for those eyeglasses, or $4 or $5 or $6 for that t-shirt or those pants or that blouse or dress. Why didn't you fly to India and buy it direct? Or why don't you go to Malaysia or Thailand or China and get it? Why don't you go to the wholesaler and not go to the store? Why do people smoke cigarettes? Why do they not wear their seatbelts? Why doesn't everybody own 10, 20 pieces of cash flowing real estate property? Makes no sense to me without using their own money. So the minute you start judging and thinking why other people would do it or not do it, you'll go crazy. Now, if you really want to do that, I recommend you become a social worker or a psychiatrist. But if you want to become an investor, correct, then you need to focus on opportunities, find them, analyze them, systems, turn them into profit, and not worry about everybody else. Now, we love to help people. We'll get on that in just a minute. So there's many ways to do investing and business without using your own money. Now, I'm a living example of this. Number one is when I got into real estate, no one taught me about money or wealth. I moved out of my house when I was 15 years old. I had a rare form of dyslexia, so I was told I could never get any kind of job. I flunked out of high school. Nobody really was there to help or support me. Everybody told me how they focused on my problems. I focused on my problems. What I couldn't do, I couldn't read, do math, do classes. I couldn't get a job other than waiting tables. I was told I'd never go to college. I was in a lot of trouble. And I believe the student or kid in the most trouble learns the most. The only reason I'm here is my grandmother, may she rest in peace, Nanny, always was positive with me. She said I could do whatever I wanted. She said I had a good personality. She told me not to listen to all the negative people. And in honor of my grandmother, I want to tell you, please be careful of all the negativity. Keep track of how much you hear. Keep track of how much you think to yourself. I can't do that. That won't work. Resistance. And thank God she was the one I paid attention to. She was the one I focused on. Now, something else about wealthy people doing deals. If you see a property that's worth $200,000 for $110,000, and it really is that, and they are there, we've done some this past week, or worth $1 million for $720,000, or worth $150,000 for $89,000 with a few dollars of repairs, you've got to act quickly. Most poor people, it's a poverty mentality, they'll think of all the reasons not to do something. I want you to think of the reasons of why wouldn't you do it. And you have to work with urgency. Look, a lot of you remember, like me, that we were in elementary school, kindergarten, junior high, high school, college. Some of us got married and we had children. And we remember those children were born and when they were 6 months old and they were toddlers. And now all of a sudden they're older children or young adults. All of a sudden a week came into 10 years and 5 years came into 20 years. I know most of you will agree, and your parents told you this, time flies. And most people wait. There's nothing to wait on. If you like this, do it. If you are interested in it, make it happen. Get committed. If you think it could help you, come see us live in person. But whatever you do, don't wait and act with urgency. The first billionaire I ever met in New York and Wall Street, I called him and said, could I have breakfast with him? And I offered to buy, kind of silly. And I like to be around successful people. You're a result of the 5 people you're around the most. You can take their income and net worth, average it. I know you've heard this before, and that's why about your income or net worth. So you got to be around different people, different systems to learn things. And the billionaire I met said, Robert, if you learn nothing else from me, remember this, and I'll save you having to pay and have a consultation with a billionaire. 5 minutes is a long time. 5 minutes is a long time. Urgency. What's my focus? Most people focus on the short term. That won't work, this won't work, I got to pay my bills, the crisis at hand. That's 0 to 30 days. Some people focus on the midterm, 30 days to maybe 6 months or a year. Long term, 10, 15, 20 years plus. That's what will make you wealthy. When I got into real estate, I thought the only way to buy real estate was to buy property, borrow money, fix it, rent it, fight with the contractors, fight with the tenants, and in 15 years, 20 years, my property paid off and I could maybe make some money then. I was a long-term investor, and it actually worked. But then I realized that you can get paid for finding good deals. Put them under contract, no risk. We do that step by step, how to wholesale deals and walk through deals like that. They're everywhere. We have students doing it in Israel, Europe, South America, Asia, North America, America and Canada. It works everywhere. There's a wholesale market and a retail market for everything. Imagine getting paid 8, 10, 12, 15, 20% just from finding a deal. And then, of course, your first thing is, well, why wouldn't they find it? Well, again, why didn't you fly to China and buy the shirt for $4 instead of $100? People are lazy. People don't have the knowledge. People don't have the systems. People don't have the tools or the desires like you do. Correct? So determine. If you're a short-term investor, need cash now, we'll show you how to wholesale property. If you're a short to mid-term investor, we'll show you how to buy, fix, and sell, lease option using other people's money, and long-term investing. Now, look at this property. Some of you have driven by things like this. You're looking at it right now, and I want to teach you something very important. You look at it, and what do you think? Write down the 1 or 2 or 3 thoughts you have right now. Just write them down. No filtering. Write them down. Junk, garbage, burn it down, blow it up. Looks like a war zone. This is actually a deal that one of our students wholesaled and made $38,000 on. So write that down. I could have made $38,000 US dollars on this. Now, did they buy the property? No. Did they fix it? No. Did they borrow money? No. They drove by and we trained them in the system of thinking like an investor, whether it's business, opportunity, money, real estate. How can I make money? Is this an opportunity or a disaster? And there's always opportunity if you're open. Some of you are, some of you aren't. Here's 3 numbers we need to know on any piece of real estate or investment, business, whatever it is. What's it worth if it's fixed up? Full value. The answer on this was $290,000. What are the repairs to fix it? It was about $130,000. They put it under contract for $25,000, marked it up almost 40, sold it for almost $70,000 to an investor who spent $120 fixing it, and the rehabber, the builder, the buyer who fixed it and sold it, made, I think, over $100,000. The wholesaler, our student, made about $28. They found it, they put it under contract, they didn't buy it, they didn't borrow money. They actually never physically saw the property. The picture you're seeing is one of their agents who found it and took a picture of it. Now, let me teach you something. A lot of you say, wait a minute, this piece of junk, I have to buy it, I have to borrow money, I don't have the cash or the credit, I got to fix it. I mean, that's a huge job. Who would want to fix that? So you see, right now, you're like a Rambo. Remember Rambo movies in the 80s? You feel like you're by yourself, just like Rambo. You have to do everything yourself. You know, he would be with a torn shirt, blood coming out of his chest. They just buried him in a hole. They tortured him. They electrocuted him. I know a lot of you feel like that sometimes. He climbed out of the hole. All he has was his little knife with him. And the whole Afghanistan army's coming at him, or the Russian helicopters. That's how you feel. You don't have to do everything yourself. You can use other people's money, other people's credit, other people's contractors. Let them buy it. Let them fix it. Let them sell it. Do what you're good at. Get paid for what you're good at. And let the other people do other things. But what keeps us from letting other people do things? Well, it's called ego. My sages teach me there's 2 things. Ego, desire to receive for oneself, or sharing, desire to share, love, correct? And whenever we tap into pure ego now, there's a difference between desire. You know, I want to make money, I want to take care of my family, I want to travel around the world, I want to have a damn good time, I want to make millions of dollars so I can help myself and my charities and have an impact on the community. That's not necessarily ego, that's desire. That's okay within reason. But ego is, no one will do it as good as me. I have to do everything myself. I can't trust anybody. That's ego. You need to build a team. Hardest thing to do, to let go, to ask for help, to ask for help, to say that I don't look like a fool. I know nobody wants to do that. No one wants to be a friar. No one wants to look like a fool. But to ask for help from experts, and letting experts do what they're good at, like this rehabber, let him or her buy it, fix it, and sell it. Let him or her use hers or her money and her credit, and you get paid for what you're good at. Opportunity, acting fast, finding deals. So what holds you back? Lack of time, lack of money, lack of credit. Now, I got started in real estate, a full-time job, but I took 3 to 5 hours a week part-time and focused. Everybody has an extra 2 to 3 hours to become wealthy. If you don't, there's a real problem. Number 2, I couldn't even pay my rent when I got into real estate. So let me show you some other ways to get money and funds. We've already mentioned them, to build your business, build your investing, build your real estate, whatever it is. And I always tell people, write this down. 3 deals and you're done. Long term, your mother, grandmother, yourself. What if they would have bought 3 really nice homes, pieces of land, commercial buildings 30, 25 years ago? They did it the wrong time. They were scared. They made mistakes, but they bought it. Now what would those properties be if they still were in your family? What's going to happen the next 5, 15, 20 years? Same thing. You just got to decide how much of the opportunity you want to get, correct? Now, before we go on, I want to challenge all of you. This is a secret of the wealthy. It's called SAB. I want all of you, whatever you decide to do, get a separate asset base. Most of us have only one asset base. If we don't work, we don't get paid. We have a retirement or a pension plan. It happened a few years ago, financial crisis. It all went down. We lost it. Most people own a business. They've done very well. Some of you are super successful. Congratulations. But if something happens to that business, the government changes regulations, a lawsuit, an employee does something stupid, the competition changes, technology changes, you've lost everything. I want you to have a separate asset base. Take 5, 10% of what you make, invest it in something else, 5, 10% of your time. So if you lost 50 or 80 or 90%, God forbid, of what you have, could you still survive? If you took all my real estate away now, I've got a separate asset base where I could be okay. If I just had one business, I'd have another something on the side. We want you to develop a separate asset base to really protect you and your family, which provides you income in type of crises, stability. It's not in your name, and it's always going to be there. So do you have a separate asset base? Where is mine? We'd love to help you get one. Could be a few pieces of real estate, could be another little side business, could be some passive investments. Now, what's the hardest thing for people to do? Ask for help, let go, and they're afraid of change. Most people need to be afraid of staying the same, right? Now, when opportunity knocks on your door, will you be at home? The greatest loss of all are those that come from missed opportunities. Every crisis has an opportunity. When people are down, those who stand up, shake it off, and focus on what you can do and what will bring you safety and satisfaction and opportunity will make you money. There's always an opportunity. There's always a deal in real estate. There's always a deal in business. And there's always ways to fund it. Now, welcome to your circle of wealth. Most people, most of their income comes from earned income. If you don't work, you don't go to your business, you don't do your surgeries or your interneting, you make no money. Now, how much passive residual income do you have? That's investments like rental property, stocks, bonds that pay you whether you work or not. What we want to do is challenge you to let us help you build over time. It's a process, and most of you won't do it because people just don't do it, but some will. Build passive residual income that equals or is greater to than your earned income. That's what happened to me. My mentor told me that if he'll stick with it for 3 to 5 years, I won't have to work anymore. I didn't believe him because I'd never done it. Right now, you don't believe some of this because you haven't done it. You don't believe you can wholesale a property because you haven't done it. But our 100+ students who have recently believe it, and once they did one, they'll do another, another. So let go, just focus on doing it. And then where you really want to be, my truly wealthy friends, where we're going to get you down the road, is portfolio income. That's where your money makes money. It's even better than passive earned income. In 5 years, you will have arrived. 5 years ago, think where you were, how quickly it came today. The question is, where? And I want you to write down exactly where you want to be in 5 years. Draw a circle. How much money you want coming in a month? $3,000, $5,000, $20,000, $100,000 from your investments from real estate. I want you to write down your personal relationships, where you'd like to be in 5 years. Your health and your spiritual, religious life, whatever it is or isn't. Draw those out. Write them down, and after this call, finish it out. And hopefully we see each other in person. I want to hear what it is, and we'll hopefully make a plan to get you there, a real proven plan to get you where you want to be. It doesn't take your own money to make money. It takes knowledge of how to use other people's money to make money. We have over 15 ways to use other people's money in business and real estate. Let me give you a couple of them now. Number one, when I got started in real estate, I found a great deals worth $75,000 for $42,000. I found it from the HUD list, which is a Housing and Urban Development Foreclosure List, HUD. My mentor helped me get one. I had 30 days to close. I had no risk. I could get out of the contract. I could inspect and get out. No risk. Why wouldn't you do something there's no risk? Now, at that time, I thought the only way to buy a property was to borrow money, buy it, fix it, rent it. That was it. The problem was I had no money or credit. I went to my family members and tried to borrow more money. They said, no way. So what would most people do if they had only $180 to their name? They owed $25,000 to their mentor. They couldn't borrow $50 from a bank, no credit, zero credit. They quit. And I asked this million-dollar question. How can I find someone who has what I don't have? So I wrote down the 5 most successful people I know. This is how you raise money. Rule number 1, never ask for money, ask their opinion. Rule number 2, have exactly all your homework done, your analysis, your systems. I had a 1 sheet, property worth $75, get it for $42, needs $3,000 to fix up. That's $45 in, it's worth $75. That's a great deal. The rent was $900. If somebody could borrow the payment would be about $350 with taxes and insurance. And I went in on a 1 sheet with the backup documentation. I called 5 successful people, asked for their opinion. The second person said, hey, this was like a great deal. He said, how about I go to the bank, borrow money, because I've got great credit. You do all the work, and we split the profits. How many of y'all think 50% is better than 0? So door number one, you can wholesale property. Get paid for finding good deals. We talked about that. And you're not using your own money. You're not buying it. And it works. I know you think it doesn't because you haven't done it yet. Do 3. It will. Number 2, other people's credit. That's what I started. That's how I still do 98% of my deals. That's how Donald Trump does 98% of his deals. I don't care how much money or credit you have or don't have, you will run out. There's more opportunity, more business, more real estate deals than your money. Currently, a couple of my students and I, advanced ones at Project X, we have 2 or 3 apartment buildings under contract worth millions of dollars. We have dozens of houses in some form of buying, selling, fixing. You know, I don't care how much money or credit you have, 15, 20 houses times 300 grand, that's a couple, $4 million. 2, 3 apartment buildings, $5, $10, $20 million. That's this week. That's this couple weeks. Now, I know those numbers scare some of you and seem unbelievable. When I see you, I'll have them documented if you want to see it in person. But the first 2.5 years I was in real estate, I only did 14 deals, and that made me able to retire. 14 duplexes. And now, with my partners, associates, and myself, in the last 30, 40, 50 days, we've done more than 14 deals. So understand that's a big jump, but you got to get started. You got to get started. Do one deal, then another deal, then another. If you never start, if you block yourself like you probably are now, I can't do that. That makes no sense. How does that work? That won't work. Why would someone do that? Why would someone give me their money or credit? Well, because the deal's great and there's little or no risk. If I disappeared, they'd get a deal 60 cents on the dollar. They were getting a good return on their money. They were protected. So we use other people's credit, wholesaling, other ways to use other people's money, credit cards, bank loans, owner's terms. In America and many other countries, the owners will finance property. We do advanced techniques like lease with an option. 40, 50% of cars are lease option now. 30 years ago, it didn't exist. The only way to buy a car was borrow money from the company or bank, pay for the car, or use your cash. Now you lease it, an option. You get an option to buy it. We do that with real estate. Very little money down. You don't need good credit. So there's 4 or 5 ways to do real estate without using your own money. Now, what are RUBs, R-U-Bs? These are people, most people like me in the beginning, they do everything right, go to school, get a good job, work hard, try to save a few dollars or shekels, but they're pretty much broke. They can't take 6 months off. They don't work. They don't get paid. They think too much and worry all the time. They let other people set goals for them and their schedule, like bosses, employees, parents, spouses. They work hard to make other people rich. Listen, whatever you do, I hope we meet at our conferences coming to your area soon in person and give you hours and hours more of these techniques. I hope you like them. If you do, come and get them. And let's spend a lot of time together. Let's build a long-term relationship. But stop making other people rich. Take a little bit of your time. I'm not saying to quit your job tomorrow and make yourself and your family rich. People that do everything right upside down are broke. They blame everyone for their problems. The government, the economy, their parents. Take 100% responsibility. Whatever your result you're getting, you're 100% committed. When you commit, if you do, to being wealthy, choose wealth, choose investing, you will make it happen. But if you don't take responsibility and commit 100% to your results, well, I'm poor, I'm broke, I don't have a chance because of other people, it'll never happen. My mentor taught me that until I took 100% responsibility, nothing changed. They think if I spend or invest $1, I'll lose it. Wealthy people ask, what does it bring me? If I invest 10 hours and do a deal and make 50 grand, that's a good investment. If I invest $10,000 of my money partners and I as a money or credit and make 100,000, that's a good investment. They have no control over anything, time, money, or life. I'm a landlord. There's no emergencies. We have systems that control everything. Now, rich idiots, this is where we want to get you, they work backwards. We keep it simple. We don't think ourselves out of success. We enjoy the process. There's ups and downs and challenges. Enjoy it. There's crises and opportunity all the time. Everybody always has crises. So as best you can within reason, you know, say it's a process. I'm going to learn from it and grow. It might be unpleasant. It might be tough. I understand. I know. But you know what? It's a process. This past year, I've had death in my family. I've had disease, hospitalizations of loved ones. I know some of you are in war zones and dealing with the same things, and it's tough. And there's a time to mourn and weep and be upset. I understand that. We're not saying be ridiculous and and whatever. But you know what? It's a process. And my own father's death, which was tragic because I miss him, was one of the most amazing couple of weeks that I spent in my life. We had great conversations. He gave me words of wisdom. He went in peace. And he learned a lot, and I learned a lot. So what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Whatever crisis you're in. We forgive others and themselves. We don't blame. We manage time well. Now, that doesn't mean not holding people responsible. That means if you're angry and blame them, that's going to eat you up. That causes disease, stomach aches, cancer, or headache. If it doesn't serve you, let it go. We're not saying they're not responsible, but don't blame. We manage time well. We build teams and let experts help us. Let other contractors, mortgage people, people with money, we use them as a team, and we all win, 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 and we give, give, give. We use opium, not the drug heroin, other people's money, their credit, their cash. There's tons of it out there. We should use retirement accounts for investing. That's where we get 80, 90% of our money. You can only have so much time in the day. We use other people's time. We build teams. When you get paid, they get paid. There's no overhead. We use other people's experiences. You will pay to learn what you're going to learn. You can either pay the hard way or pay for other people's experiences, like hiring a doctor, a lawyer, a mortgage person, a banker. Correct? You have a choice. And rich folks, real ones, wealthy ones, always give back. Now, what's your focus? We have just a few more minutes here. I believe your most important assets, and we spend a lot of time on time management, is your relationships, time, not just money. So we always challenge people, whatever business you're in, who holds you accountable. So how do you spend your time? We give people 2 or 3 of the best time tracking systems in the world for you and your team, and here they are. What activity am I doing? Start tracking it. How much time do I spend? How much money has that activity made me, or will it make me? I'm going to challenge you that 70, 80% of the time you spend in your business and investing life, your very busy activity, you're spending a lot of time on it, but will not make you any money. We got to get you focused. Do you enjoy the activity? If you don't enjoy it, you'll never get good at it. We want you to do activities you enjoy, and the last one is, can you get someone else to do it? I hate bookkeeping. I had her bookkeeper. That frees my mind, my soul, my energy. I make more money. So if you're in the beginning of resistance, saying, hey, I don't have money to do that, when you make money, they make money. They'll make a percent of your business. They'll take points on your profit. That's why I pay over 80 people that work with me full time. I used to pay them a salary and by the hour. I got a lot of hours. We're going to show you how mutually aligned interest. Here's our 4 imperatives for you. This is what people can do with real estate and other investing. It sounds crazy, but it's done. Replace or double your income within 12 months part-time. Be free of all bad debt. That's debt that doesn't make you money within 12 months. Pay off your credit cards, your car loans. Have the ability to access another $200,000 in liquid assets within 2 years part-time. That could be 1, 2, or 3 deals, or one bigger deal for a lot of our students. Develop at least 7 or 9 source of income within 2 years and be financially independent and ready for retirement. That sounds crazy. I don't expect you to believe it. I didn't. And most people won't do the activity or get committed to do it, real world. But my mentor taught me that, and within about 2 years, I had 14 duplexes, about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month, net, tax-free coming in, and I was able to retire at 31. We've had other students do it with 1 deal, 2 deals, 1 bigger deal, a couple smaller deals. Now, if you knew you could not fail, what would you do? What holds us back? Fear. I like to take the risk away from every situation. There's always a better way. There's always a way to do it. So if you want to start out wholesaling, there's no risk. If you follow our systems and analyze the deals, the risk, I'm not going to say it goes to 0. The world could end, an earthquake, Armageddon, but the risk goes down very low. We're taught that investing's risky, real estate's risky. If you follow the systems, the risk almost goes down to 0. That sounds good. So what I want you all to do is, if you learned something in the last 50 minutes, it went by very quickly, let's spend hours and hours together. Let me answer your questions. Let me show you specifically how to raise money and set these goals. Let me show you step by step how to buy property, fix and sell without using your own money, locally, regionally, and internationally. Whether you're there or not, we have people doing it. I'm going to show you about 8 different ways to find the money step by step, and show you how to do contracts without risk, and build a short-term, mid-term, or long-term money machine. So if you're interested, please click on the button below, and you can spend some time with me. I'll be coming to your area very soon, and I really want to look forward to meeting you. But my favorite part of when we're together is we do real case studies. You'll meet our real students who are doing this, who are just like you, who are skeptical, didn't believe it because they hadn't done it, but they did it. And I want to answer your questions. And I love that when we're together. And what I want to do right now is perhaps maybe you have a couple of questions. If you do, I'd like to answer them. But again, if you learned a little something, and maybe it's not what you know, maybe you knew some of it, it's what you do. But we want to help you do this and really do it. And so what I want to do is challenge you. Let's spend hours and hours together. Let's give you our checklists and our systems, how to do it fast, how to find an opportunity, find a deal, how to do a quick analysis in 11 minutes or less, the systems, whether you fix it, flip it, wholesale it, money partner it, real estate, business. Let's talk about the trends and how you can immediately turn these deals and opportunities into profit in person. So if you can and want to, click on the button below, and we'll see each other in person. And what I want to do is see if, let's see here. I want to see if there's any questions right now. Let's see here. So,
Robert,
do we have any questions that have come up about anything? We covered a lot of stuff very quickly, a general buffet introduction. And again, when we're in person, we'll go into great detail on these, answer people's specific questions. So I look forward to seeing everybody in person. Are there any questions right now about anything?
Yeah, Robert, you hear me?
Absolutely. You sound great.
Robert, I want first to thank you. It was amazing. I'm sure there is a lot of new listeners, people that listen to you for the first time, and I think it's overwhelmed them. I think they get a lot of information that I hear you for 2.5 years already, and it was amazing.
Well, I know when I'm listening to one of these, I want more information rather than less. So it took me years to get some of this. So go easy. You're not going to get it all in the first 59 minutes. It's a process, but I'd rather give you more than less.
I know. People want to ask you to be very simple and specific. How to do real estate without your own money, and you talk about wholesaling. To put a house on a contract, okay, without that you don't have to buy it. You have like 30 days, and then you can get a money partner. If you can go through it for 1 minute to help people to get over the belief that
we have about
they can't do deal without money.
Let's walk through a deal we just did. There's 2 ways to wholesale a deal. You can find a buyer first or find the deal first. If it's a deal, someone will buy it and you'll make money. We have a program that has every cash buyer in the United States of real estate. So we have the buyers for you, with you. But let's go through a very simple deal. We show people how to go through Craigslist, other websites like myhousedeals.com, and there's very motivated sellers there. And they'll tell you, I'm an investor, I'm a landlord, I'm a wholesaler. House is worth $200, I'm selling for $130. And you say, well, why don't they sell it for $200? Well, they probably got it for $90 or $80 or $50. They're making money. And you put it under contract for $135,000. You have 30 days to close. You have it under contract. They can't sell it to anybody else. You haven't bought it. You haven't borrowed money. Just like when you bought your own home. You put your house under contract. You had a few days or a few weeks to inspect it to get your loan. If you didn't get the loan or didn't inspect properly, you got out of the contract. No risk. We put under contract. Then we find a buyer. We have buyers. We show you how to find buyers. They're on the internet. We show how to advertise for them. They're on Craigslist. They're on these other sites. And literally, you re-advertise it, and somebody calls them and says, hey, it's worth $200. I'll give you $155 for it. You have it on a contract for $135. One contract to buy it for $135. One contract to sell $155. You make $20,000. That's actually a deal one of our students did a few weeks ago. And that's exactly how they found it on Craigslist. Now, the problem is a lot of people listening are smart. And they're too smart, and they'll think, that seems too simple. And it kind of is. But you have to do the activity. You have to look. It takes a little bit of time. We find great deals by calling for rent ads. We're looking for motivated sellers, foreclosures, short sales, old landlords and landladies. They're sick of it. They don't want to bother with listing it and selling it and showing it and paying commissions. And sometimes they'll sell for below market. You put under contract, find a buyer. The lawyer goes to closing. The lawyer does all the paperwork, and and you make the difference. Now, sometimes the buyer says you have to pay cash. I want the 135 in 3 weeks. I'm not going to let you sell to somebody else before you buy it. We have hard money lending, transactional funding for our Project X students, which will fund the deal for 135. Then the next day, Shlomo, Joe, Billy, Bob, Jill comes in and buys for 150, and use somebody else's money for that short period of time. We teach you how to get money partners if you want to buy it, fix it, and sell it, or if you want to buy it and rent it. But wholesaling, you get paid for finding good deals. You put in a contract. Before we have to close, you find a buyer. If it's a good deal, the buyers will come. And it's done every day, every minute, in residential and commercial property in pretty much every country. We have students doing this in Israel, South America, America. And, you know, it's like anything. It's work and effort, but it can be that simple when it works. Did that answer the question, Gilad?
Yeah, amazing, amazing. It's good.
Besides using money partners, besides, like I did, find people with credit, besides using owners and sellers who will finance some deals, and then there's a lot of hard money lenders who will loan on the property. They don't care whether you have a U.S. Social Security number or your credit's good or bad. If you don't pay, they get the property. And they've only loaned 70, 80 cents on the dollar, so they don't care whether you pay or not. If you pay, they make a nice interest rate. If you don't pay, they get the deal. So there's what's called hard money lenders. We have quite a few of those lined up for people. So just 3 or 4 of the 9 or 10 or 11 different ways we have to buy property. My 3 favorite ways are wholesaling, money partners, and owner's terms. Instead of borrowing $100,000 from the bank, you borrow it from the owner. Some owners will make the loans. Not all, some will.
Amazing. Robert, again, I want to thank you. It's a very important thing, important information and knowledge to give the people the possibility to open the new source of income to their life, to their business, to become more wealth. I'm so excited that you're going to come to Israel soon and you're going to do an event. What you're going to talk about?
Well, we got 4 hours. First of all, I want to answer all of your questions and concerns. Bring your case studies, your tough questions. How do I get started? How do I find a deal? And I want to answer them. And then I'm going to go step by step through systems on how to find the money, how to find the deals, how to analyze them. And the best way to learn is to do. So we're going to get real case studies, real live examples, step by step, so you'll understand and learn how to do it yourself. But again, my favorite part is your questions and your concerns. We're going to show you how to find deals, analyze them, the systems, how to turn them into profit, how checklists, and you can do it locally or internationally, and then give you real examples of what's working. And all you have to do is copy, repeat, copy, repeat. It works.
Amazing, Robert. Thank you very much. And now I want to also invite people to push the button below the video. We want to say thank you for being with us, Robert. You've been amazing. People said that you help them a lot. They have a lot of questions more, but I know that you have a flight, so you're going to answer the question about people. They ask if you have a few tips for investors, the people that have money but don't have time. You also invite them to the event.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I was taught that 4, 5, 6, 8, 10% was a pretty good return on investment, and sometimes the stock market does better. We have a lot of our friends and investors, including myself, who make 30 or 40% a year lending on real estate, secured by real estate. We feel it's very safe once you understand how to do it, and we show people how to do that. Of course, there's other ways too. So if anyone's interested in learning that, I know that number sounds high. When you don't make that much, it sounds crazy, but we have a lot of people doing it through hard money lending and very passive, very safe. If you do it the right way, if you do it the wrong way, it's not safe, but following the systems is. And we'll go through that too. And one thing, and I hope, Gilad, you don't mind, is whatever business you're in, starting one, running one, I believe you should always give people more than they expect. So whoever comes out to see me in person, I'm going to give them some gifts when they show up that we're not going to tell them about, some surprises. Would that be okay?
Of course, every time.
Whatever you do, always give people a little more than they expect. Whatever business you're in, for all your relationships, it's fun. It's the right thing to do. And we like to give people a lot of value, and I know you do too. So I look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Please come up and say hello. And, it's not just about work and money. It's about quality of life. We want to get you not only a good return on your money, great investments, but a great lifestyle. The first 28 years of my life, I worked for somebody else and didn't take much vacation. I'm on vacation right now, and we want to get you there where you can just take as much time off as you want, and the money keeps coming in, whether you're working or not. And that's the goal for all of us and for you. So I look forward to being part of your success. And right now, officially, I'm on vacation, and I want to wish all of you a lot of success, a lot of health, and a lot of happiness. I look forward to seeing you in person, and together we would like to develop long-term relationships. We look forward to hearing about your great success.
Great. Okay, Robert, I will speak in Hebrew, so I want to thank you very much, and you can go now to your flight. I know you're very early, so people say thank you for your time.
Well, as we say in Tennessee, I'm right now in South Beach. Bavakasha, 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 Yom Tov, Laila Tov, and all the best for you. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you so much.
Bye, Robert.
Okay, sababa.
טוב, חברים, אני רוצה להודות, היו פה מאות אנשים בשידור החי, מאוד מאוד מרגש. באמת, בדרך כלל אנשים חווים את רוברט באירוע, והחלטנו לעשות וובינר מיוחד שרוברט חשף פה. רוברט לא שם מעצורים, באמת שיתף אתכם בכל מה שהוא יכל בזמן הקצר הזה. כמובן, כשאתה צמא ואתה מגיע אחרי טיול במדבר, אי אפשר בבת אחת לשתות הרבה וצריך לתת טיפה. אז אני מקווה שרוברט נתן לכם באמת לטעום מעט בכלל מהאפשרות הזאת של יצירת הכנסה מנדל"ן, גם אם אין לך כרגע הון עצמי או ידע, ואם יש לך הון עצמי, להבין איך אפשר להשקיע אותו בצורה חכמה יותר, ועם אנשים שיודעים איך למצוא עסקאות בשיטה של רוברט, גם כמובן מי שמגיע לאירועים, פוגש את התלמידים של רוברט, אנשים שיודעים למצוא את העסקאות הטובות בשיטה של רוברט. אז גם אם אתם רוצים ללמוד את השיטה של רוברט או להשקיע באנשים שיודעים להשתמש בשיטה, אז אני באמת רוצה לפגוש אתכם. אני רוצה לראות אתכם באים, מגיעים לאירוע, יש לכם גם בונוס מיוחד, יש לכם גם קופון שזמין רק עד מחר ב8 בבוקר, תיכנסו לכפתור שמתחת לוידאו פה, תוכלו להיכנס ותראו מעל תיבת ההרשמה, יש שם קופון שאתם מכניסים אותו ואתם מקבלים הנחה מיוחדת עד מחר ב8 בבוקר. מי שמרגיש, הקשיב, שמע, זה נגע בו, הוא מרגיש שהוא יכול להשקיע עוד כמה שעות בשבוע בשביל לייצר לעצמו הכנסה נוספת, בשביל להפוך את העסק שלו לדבר יציב עם הכנסה מנדל"ן, את החיים שלו לחיים עם רווחה יותר, שהוא יכול להגשים את עצמו יותר, ונפתחה לו האפשרות הזאת של יצירת נדל"ן בארצות הברית ובכל מקום אחר בעולם, בשיטה שמאפשרת לך למצוא נכסים מתחת למחיר השוק מסיבה כזאת או אחרת. שוב, הזמן כרגע קצר בשביל לפרט את השיטה באופן שהוא עמוק, אבל בגדול זה באמת למצוא נכסים שהם מתחת למחיר השוק, לשים אותם על חוזה בלי שום התחייבות ולמצוא פשוט את הכסף, אם זה משקיעים, שותפים של כסף, אנשים שמבינים את השיטה ומוכנים להשקיע ביחד איתכם כסף וליצור ביחד נכסים של נדל"ן, ערוץ הכנסה נוסף מנדל"ן, בעסק שלכם, בחיים שלכם. כמו שרוברט אמר, זה מתחיל מההתפתחות האישית שלכם, מההבנה שזה אפשרי, שיש מציאות. יש הרבה אנשים שעושים ופועלים בצורה כזאת שהיא, נקרא לזה, בדרך הנכונה והרגילה, ויש אנשים שפועלים בצורה שהיא שונה, בצורה שמאפשרת להם להגשים את עצמם, להשפיע יותר על העולם, להגשים את הייעוד שלהם באמצעות כך שיש להם הכנסה שלא תלויה בזמן שלהם. נכון, בהתחלה זה דורש זמן והשקעה כדי לייצר לכם את ההכנסה מנדל"ן, זה פשוט, אבל זה דורש את ההתמדה שלכם, זה דורש את הרצון שלכם. אז אם יש לכם את הרצון, את התשוקה, גם לשמוע עוד את רוברט, לקבל את המוטיבציה הזאת שהיא חשובה מאוד, וגם אם אתם רוצים לקבל עוד ידע שיאפשר לכם להבין ולעשות עוד צעד לעבר השקעה בנדל"ן, לעבר יצירת נכסים בנדל"ן ולמצוא נכסים, לדעת איך לעשות את זה, אני מזמין אתכם באמת לאירוע הקרוב של רוברט. יש לכם פה כפתור מתחת לשידור החי. היו פה מאות אנשים, מאוד מאוד מרגש, אנשים שאלו שאלות, שלחו אלינו, ואנחנו נוכל לענות על הכל בהמשך גם באירוע עצמו. תיכנסו לפירוט על האירוע, לקבל עוד מידע. אני הייתי גלעד פולק, אני מייסד ומנכ"ל אודיו-דידאקט. ב5 שנים האחרונות אנחנו עובדים במרץ רב, ובשנתיים וחצי האחרונות יחד עם רוברט להגשים חזון של יצירה של קהילה של אנשים שגם מגשימים את הייעוד שלהם, וגם יודעים לחבר את זה לחומר, וליצור נכסים בנדלן, לפתור לאנשים בעיות, ולהפוך את העולם לעולם משגשג, משפיע ואמפתי יותר. אז אני רוצה להודות לכם, מאוד נהניתי בשידור הזה, מאוד התרגשתי, אשמח לראות אתכם באירוע הקרוב, אז שיהיה לכם בינתיים להתראות, המון המון בהצלחה, וגם אם תיקחו משפט אחד ממה שרוברט אמר היום, וכבר תיישמו אותו, אתם יכולים לעשות שינוי משמעותי. אז המון תודה רבה לכם, אני מוקיר אתכם על זה, כל הכבוד שבאתם היום, שיהיה לכם הרבה טוב בחיים, להתראות.